Right now we are going to create some tiles and distribute them around the ruins object. So yeah, first of all, we're gonna create a single tile. So let's add a cube. Press Shift A, cube. And now we need to scale this, so go into the edit mode, press tab and scale this down. Doesn't matter too much right now because we'll be scaling them when placing on the scene, but I already know that they need to be maybe half a meter or something like that. And let's scale them on the z-axis. So press S, then Z, scale them down to something like this. So they're almost flat, but leave some room there. This is maybe 0.1 or 0.2. And right now we're gonna slice it. So let's do one cut, press Ctrl R and do a loop cut right here. Press Escape, and I want to add some variation to that and to modify the shape a little bit, so it's not just the flat tile on the floor. So let's go into the edge select by pressing 2, select one edge, and we'll drag it down a little bit to create a slope. So press G, then Z, and grab it down a little bit. Not too much, just a little. Okay, and if we go back to the vertex select right now, so press 1 to the vertex select, we can bevel these. So yeah, but let's bevel them one by one. So click one vertex, press Ctrl B to bevel, then V to enable vertex beveling, and let's do one bevel. Now we can maybe edge slide this vertex here with pressing G twice, and let's do another bevel here. We can leave that one as is, and two other here, and we can modify these two and create maybe one really broad but not so deep, like this. And you can always slide these top ones a little bit. Okay, and I think this will do nicely for a tile. Maybe you can select these two and drag them up a little bit to enforce that slope and make it more visible. Okay, now let's name this tile in the outline view, and we'll unhide the ruins collection right here. So click that, and while still have the tile selected, let's press M, and rather than creating a new collection, we will select the ruins collection to move the tile there. And one last thing to do is to distribute them along these surfaces. So we'll use snapping for this, and you might already know that from the episode before where we distributed the trees and rocks. So let's enable snapping, and the icon is right here, but if you can remember, the shortcut is Shift Tab. So let's press Shift Tab and switch these to face, because we want to be snapping to the faces of the surface. And we want to project individual elements and align rotation to target. So check both of those options. And in the episode before, I explained what that means actually. So now if you press G, you are already snapping to the surface. So let's move this somewhere here, and we'll need to scale it down a little bit to be placed here correctly. So let's make the tile here, and right now we can just Alt duplicate to create link duplicates all around the place. So this is again part where you can get creative and basically do whatever you want. So just Alt D, place it, you can scale it to really break from that uniformity, and again a few times. Okay, and with the tiles it's always good to create these kind of checker patterns, and again we can rotate some of those. So let's press R, Z and enter 180 to rotate them 180 degrees, and maybe this one too, but only a 90. So R, Z, 90, okay, and this one can be R, Z, minus 90. So we have a nice little variation there, and they really look like different tiles. Now we can continue the distribution of the tiles on the other side as well. So let's just select one of them, doesn't really matter which one, and Alt D to move it to a new place. And we can make some patterns here as well. Maybe move some here and here. And I really want to make this smaller. Okay, so just select some of those, press S to scale, and move them around with G while the snapping is still on, and that should be enough. And again, we need to do some variation there, and let's turn off snapping, and we can use an individual origin. So let's leave that one selected, shift click this one and this one, switch these to individual origins, and now if you press R then Z and enter 90 degrees, they will rotate on their own axis. So yeah, and we can select these three, R, Z, enter 180, and we have now some nice quick variations. Let's switch this back to the median point, and that's for the tiles. But this one is a little bit too much inside the geometry, because the rotation was a bit different, and when we rotated on the Z global axis it messed it up a little bit. So we can always just shift tab to enable snapping and adjust the position. Or if you want to do it manually, you can turn off snapping, press R twice and make some custom rotations. That'll be good too. So whatever you want basically to get some tiles all over the place. And this is the style I like to use not only on tiles, but the bricks on the walls and the wooden planks on some buildings, where you just create one or two tiles or planks, distribute them along the surfaces with different rotations and angles, and it creates an illusion that the whole object is made out of these tiles or bricks or whatever you want. So this is part of the stylized look I'm trying to achieve here. That's why we are not doing fully tiled floor or tile texture or something like that, but only distributing few of the objects. And one last part, if you have the tiles laid out, you can always check how far they are, how much they are peeking from the surface, and you can adjust that. Since they are link duplicates, you can just click one, go into the edit mode, select all, press G and then Z twice, and really just grab them along on the z-axis to maybe put them deeper into the surface, like this. Okay, the tiles are ready now, and let's go to the next chapter.